Sal, I know we're on hiatus from Spider-Verse for a brief moment. If you guys want to check out Mutant Academy, you can do that over at patreon.com/onlystupid answers. But I did want to talk to you about Spider-Man adjacent stuff because Spidey's still on the brain.
Always.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you have not seen Venom The Last Dance.
I have not.
Which is shocking because I know how excited you were. I know how excited you were for it.
Yeah, I don't think that they are grifts.
Yeah.
And that they are lacking in any substance whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't have like a moral stance where I don't give Sony money for them. Like,
Yeah. I completely understand what you're not doing. But since we last spoke, we did a video a month ago. Time is elusive.
Who knows?
About because there was a speculation that the next Spider-Man movie would be another multiverse one. And we were kind of trying to work through those emotions. Since then, we've got some official stuff come down the pipeline for what is still being called Spider-Man 4, which is confusing. We should call it Spider-Man Home 4. That way it's like, I know what Spider-Man 4 we're getting excited about.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah.
Since there is a Spider-Man 3
that
predates it, that people are excited about, that people want to see.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 4, people are like, oh. And I'm like, no,
not that. Well, and it's not even that there's ever been any real conversation for Spider-Man 4, but I think you got right to the heart of it, that we already had a numbered Spider-Man series that ended on a 3. So therefore, when you say Spider-Man 4, this is slightly better than when they were calling Spider-Man No Way Home Spider-Man 3. And it's like, what? Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what we got.
All right.
We have official release date, because this is how we do these movies. We give them a release date, and then we figure out the rest. It works out perfectly. Just ask Mahershala Ali about Blade. It works out great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the release date for this is July 24th, 2026. Buckle in, everybody. It's going to be a minute. And, of course, this is dropping between Avengers Doomsday, which comes out May 2026, and Secret Wars, Avengers Secret Wars, which comes out of May 2027.
Right.
Okay. And we have a director. He'd been rumored, but now it's official. Destin Daniel Cretton, who did Shang-Chi. Apparently, we've decided, forget Shang-Chi 2.
Oh, yeah, that's out the window. I mean, first of all, pandemic movie. Secondly, no one's clamoring for Shang-Chi 2. I like Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I like the first 2/3 of Shang-Chi. And then in the final third, it decides to be a completely different movie. And it's like, what happened to the movie I was enjoying?
I didn't necessarily hate that second half. Like, I didn't even necessarily hate that movie that they were making.
Yeah.
But it ain't the movie they were making in the beginning.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That was my whole problem. My whole problem with Shang-Chi was like, ooh, a street-level, New York-based kung fu movie? I'm in. And they were like, how about literally the exact opposite?
How about, in our defense, in your mind's defense, for our expectations, it is called Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Not Shang-Chi and, what was it, the Beast Who Shall Not Be Named? Whatever that dragon monster is at the end.
Oh, yeah. The thing that wasn't Fin Fang Foom?
The thing that was not Fin Fang Foom, because we need to tease him for a sequel that we're not making. Yeah, it's wild. But it is interesting because it didn't, especially for a pandemic movie, it didn't do poorly.
No.
And they've announced a sequel, and we're going to do, over at OSA, this little snippet is going to probably land on my personal channel. So over at Only Stupid Answers, we're going to do a whole rundown of all the things they've teased that do not appear to be happening. Shang-Chi 2 being one of them. So anyway, it's just weird because originally Destin Daniel Cretton was going to do one of the Avengers, Kang Dynasty, when that was what that was.
Oh,
and now now he's doing Spider-Man, which feels like it continues to do a trend of like, hey, thank you for taking a bullet for us. Here's this movie.
Exactly what that is. Exactly what that is. That is a favor movie.
Yeah.
That is we locked you in. You said no to certain assignments. We apologize. Shang-Chi is not on the docket anymore. We're not going to tell anybody that, but we'll give you Spider-Man in the interim. Was that why Watts dropped out? Like, because Watts was like, I'm doing Fantastic Four. Like, you could tell he was like, I'm doing Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
He's not doing Fantastic Four, right?
No, the guy that directed the WandaVision series is doing Fantastic Four.
Oh, great! I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So, and it's the same deal with what was it, Andy Muschietti and Flash. Like, listen, man, you fell on that. You fell on that sword for us. Here's the next Batman movie.
Right. Well, and isn't there like kind of a trend here where it's like, okay, we screwed you, so here's a Spider-Man movie. Like that'll make $1 billion.
And listen, again, considering the parts that Sal and I liked on Shang-Chi, he'll probably do a really good Spider-Man. So there's
as long as Spider-Man doesn't fight a big dragon or anything, we'll be okay.
Oh my God, back to Spider-Man. Okay,
Spider-Man 4.
So and Tom Holland, we have this quote. I pulled this quote via Deadline. He gave it via the Rich Roll podcast. He says, "We have a creative and a pitch and a draft, which is excellent. It needs work, but the writers are doing a great job. And I read it 3 weeks ago, and it really lit a fire in me. Zendaya and I sat down and read it together, and at times we were like bouncing around the living room. Like, this is a real movie worthy of the fans' respect. And there are a few things that we need to figure out before we can get that really going. But it's exciting, and I'm really, really excited for it." Okay. So from this information, Sal, where do you think we're headed? It's not much. I do think I can tell you, having seen Venom: The Last Dance, I feel with pretty strong confidence, I can tell you the movie Sony wants to make. Okay?
Oh yeah, I think we all know what movie Sony wants.
Because Sal, do you mind if I spoil Venom: The Last Dance for you?
Not in the least.
Okay, so I'm going to spoil Venom: The Last Dance for you. For the friends at home, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to spoil it for you just for the context of this conversation, because it ends in kind of a confusing fashion. If you've seen the trailers for Venom: The Last Dance, we're introducing Knull. He is hunting Venom for really overly complicated reasons, and it's because of Knull wants to escape from wherever Knull is, and to do that, something about Venom and Tom Hardy's connection creates something called the Codex. So one or both of them need to die, because if they fully merge, it creates the Codex, and Knull can use that to escape.
But couldn't they just merge at any time? I'm not here to poke holes in the boat.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing is now, because now Knull knows what he's looking for, that if they fully, which is basically an excuse for Tom Hardy to not go full Venom for a bulk of the movie, until he decides that Venom decides he wants to dance with Mrs. Chen, which is, you've seen in the trailer, which it blows up the rest of the plot, and it's like, that's anyway, whatever. We're not going to that's another episode for Spider-Versity down the line. So to save the day, Venom sacrifices himself so Eddie can live, and we get 2 post-credit sequences. One is Knull looking at the camera. By the way, Knull is played by Andy Serkis. Great casting choice, just because 1, Andy Serkis is great, and 2, he directed the second Venom movie, so they're keeping it in the family, and I like that.
Yeah.
Knull is talking to the camera, and he's like, "Your world's destroyed. I'm going to come destroy you. I know that the plot of this movie was my ability to escape was defeated, but actually, I'm on my way." That's post-credit scene 1, and of course, having just seen Venom, Eddie lives, Venom dies, and it's like, coming to fight who?
Right? Yeah.
Craven the Hunter? Like, what are we? Yeah. What are we setting up? Okay. Post credit 2 is we saw Venom die, but a little smidgen of him is put into a vial. There's a cockroach that's scurrying out of Area 51, because that's where a bulk of the movie takes place. And it goes up to a vial. There is an electric pulse, which seems to imply a different symbiote scene in the movie. Whatever. I think it's supposed to imply that like a piece of Venom lives on in this cockroach, so that we can do more of this stuff. Okay. So with that in place in my brain, leaving Venom: The Last Dance, I'm like, well, obviously the Sony execs we're coming out of Doomsday.
Yep.
We're going into Secret Wars. Where did Spider-Man get his black costume originally? Secret Wars. And I would imagine what they want is, it is a little unclear, because they do some retconning of Venom: Last Dance. Does the little piece of Venom that's in the MCU, is it actually in the MCU, or is it the piece that was found in the Venom universe? Because they retcon it a little bit and it's a little unclear. But let's say multiverse shenanigans, Spider-Man gets the black suit, Eddie wants to reunite with Venom, this pits Spidey versus Venom, and then they have to team up to fight Knull.
Oof.
I feel with great confidence that is the movie Sony wants.
Yes.
The question is, this isn't the first time Sony's teed up a ball that Marvel was like, nope. MCU.
That's one of them.
Kevin Feige was like, nope, not gonna.
100%. Because you know why?
Yeah.
Because they have a living example of it. They're like, yeah, Spider-Man 3 was ruined because of you.
Yeah.
Person who worked there, and you, person who worked there,
yeah.
who did this already 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
No. Like they're just like, look, does Venom make money? Yes.
Yeah.
Does Venom with Spider-Man equal dollars? No.
Yeah.
You know, Spider-Man 3 did make money. I think it's because they promised a match between Spider-Man and Venom. Sam Raimi sabotaged it by casting Topher Grace on purpose.
Yeah.
You could tell that he was like, nope, I have nothing but disdain for this character. I don't want to use him, but I'm being forced to, so here it is. And so, yeah, I feel like they're like, no, we're not going to even entertain that concept.
Yeah.
Unless we can do XYZ.
Yeah.
Now, whatever that means, there's no way that Sony is making any decisions for creative reasons. It's not like they're going to be satisfied because they desperately need to see, you know, the carousel fight sequence from Amazing Spider-Man 375. Like, there's no way they're like, oh, I just want to see it so bad. No, it's because they think that it's going to make money, and they think that it's going to make them personally a lot of money.
Yeah.
And get them back on the stage at the Academy Awards sometime.
Yeah.
Never happened again. That's over.
Yeah.
But no, they just want to make money, and they think that's going to make them the money. It's not going to. Plus, Feige has no interest in satisfying their desires.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be very, like, corporate. All this is going to be very, like, this for that, like, contract, lawyers, figure it out. I could imagine it could be, I mean, every single Sony independent Spider-Man adjacent movie has failed.
Yes.
Just failed.
Including
Venom 3.
I mean, Venom 3 is not doing... that is correct. The first two Venoms did pretty good.
They did.
Yeah.
But Venom 2 didn't do as well as Venom 1.
Yeah.
So, like, it's diminishing returns for what is already a diminished product.
Yeah.
I would have thought, and I thought it every time, that would be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah.
I don't know what failure looks like to Sony at this point. Right? Like, what do they think? Like, the rumor that just leaked recently, and who knows if it's real or not. The fact is, you could predict what Sony's going to do. It doesn't have to be a leak. It could just be common sense. But the idea that, like, they're going to get the whole band back together because they're like, remember in Amazing Spider-Man 2 how bad we wanted the Sinister Six? We still do.
Yeah.
And we're going to get them. And they're going to fight Knull. Like, Madam Web is going to unite them.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Morbius and Vulture, and it's going to really be stupid, and no one's going to see it, and it's going to make $4.
Yeah.
And then we'll just make another one. And I don't know where they're getting the money from, but it's insane to me, and I feel like it's just Venom 3 needed to be the towel throw. Where it's like, they go to Feige and they go like, okay, so here's what we're thinking, all right? Knull is going to blah, blah, blah. And Feige just goes, that's enough.
Yeah.
Like, we're buying the rights back, or we're buying Sony, or we're done with this. Like, it's over for you, all right? Like, please just stop. And I think the audience is getting further and further on my side about this. It used to be that before Homecoming, everybody was like, give the rights back to Marvel. After Homecoming, people were like, boo! So, you know, maybe give Sony a chance. Let Sony cook. I think that after Kraven, we'll be in a much more actionable scenario.
What if Kraven makes $1 billion, Sal? What if he makes $1 billion?
Yeah, I mean... It won't.
Yeah, so we'll see. I am interested to see if this, because one presumes that, like Infinity War leading into Endgame, that Doomsday will end on like everything's exploded. So I don't know if Spider-Man fits in the middle of that, or we're going to pull an Ant-Man and the Wasp where it's like, well, right before that happened. You know what I mean? Like,
I have a horrible thought.
Yes.
Everything explodes.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're going to make Battle World.
Yeah.
Multiverse explodes.
Yeah.
MCU Pete ends up in the Sonyverse for one whole movie.
That would be awful. I do kind of also hate the concept of like, he's not even going to be in New York. He's on Battle World. It's just the cavalcade of multiverse stuff. Guess what? Tom Holland Spider-Man's going to be hanging out with Wesley Snipes' Blade and Jennifer Garner's Electro. Aren't you excited? It's the multiverse. Oh my God.
Not at all.
We're going to keep you posted. Let us know in the comments what you think Spider-Man 4 is going to be, who he's going to be teaming up with, whether you'd like to see him hang out with Tom Hardy's Venom to fight Knull. See that on paper, Spider-Man teams up with Venom to fight Knull. On paper, that sounds like a movie I want to see.
But like, he doesn't even know who that is.
It doesn't.
No, I have no vested interest in this.